I also hope that you are now ready to dive headfirst into our interactive program on artificial intelligence. So whether you like it or not, fear it or admire it, artificial intelligence has become part of our daily lives. So this morning, our program, A as a friend, not a foe, we look at both the benefits and risks AI brings. In our 2 sessions, you will hear how AI has been influencing how we share and consume information and what this means for journalists, communicators, society, and democracy. You will learn how AI agents can become your productive colleagues who can simplify your daily work in communication, marketing, or PR. As the icing on the cake, our seminar will end with an interactive LinkedIn masterclass that will teach you how to create memorable content and make meaningful connections on the social media channel, which has become the go-to platform for professional networking. Now, I would like to ask Mr. David Grunewald to join me at the podium. David is an AI automation strategist and recognized AI expert with over 28 years of experience in digital strategy and business leadership. Over the past 3 years alone, he has trained more than 2,500 professionals across Europe, Africa, and Asia in the use of AI. He also teaches digital strategy at the Free University of Brussels. And in his session, From Chatbot to AI Agent, how AI is transforming the way we communicate, David will show how AI can help you in your work if you use it responsibly. He will also discuss the ethical use of AI and why you should give a chance to European AI alternatives. So, David, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm very glad to be here, and especially today because I woke up this morning noticing that the Belgian Red Devils have beaten 4-1 the Americans. So I'm very glad and very excited to start in honoring the Red Devils today. Hopefully the echo is not so annoying, but I'll do my best to have a closer voice, and maybe it's better like that. I'm David Grunewald, and I'm the founder of Plugin2.ai. It's a consultancy agency, and I'm helping individuals, empowering people and organizations to have a better usage of AI with the best methods to empower you in your everyday work. I have a track record of 28 years in the communication, and I've been working for a couple of DGs in my life, but it turns out that in 2020, with the COVID, I decided to step down from the advertising and communication world to start a training at the MIT, and this is the reason I'm here. But today, and in this 40 minutes crash course, I would like to walk you through actually maybe the most consequential shift in digital communication. From the evolution of your AI assistant, and you might use ChatGPT or Copilot, to AI agents and AI operating systems that are going to tremendously change digital communication. This is not about the same way you're going to interact with your chatbot, asking a questions and getting an answer. This is going to change the way you search, analyze, and produce pieces of communication. But I will not only walk you through this evolution with the positivism and the good news, I will also evaluate and walk you through the second story aligned with this. What are the consequences of the choices that we're making in these solutions? Are we just going for American AI? And this is great, they are very performing, but what are the consequences for the data protection, the sovereignty of your data, but also a macroeconomic problem that might occur in the coming years for Europe, okay? So let's start with the positive thing. There's scientists who said this is a totally crazy evolution. Those last 6 months, the evolution is so fast in the AI world. It's like you're switching from the Pac-Man universe to the Sony PlayStation 6 universe, not in 45 years' time, but in 6 months. And every 6 months, this is a real major shift, a revolution in the way we are interacting with systems. Before, if you wanted to generate complex things, complex images, complex videos, complex reasoning, you had to deal with complex softwares. Today, if you have a voice and you can talk, well, actually, you can control machines that will provide you with very complex things. And the shift is here. We are, of course, using AI as a chatbot, and this is evolving. But the second step, and this is pretty true in 2026, we're now building up workflows, agents capable of achieving a couple of things for us. We'll talk to that. It's a companion, a working partner. But the near future, starting now, is about AI operating systems. It's additional co-workers in your organization, in your department, working with you, doing things for you autonomously with your supervision. We'll talk about that. So first things, you have to know that there's a real evolution of large language models. The one that you're using, or the ones that you're using, might be Copilot, might be ChatGPT, might be Gemini, might be Claude, have evolved from a simple chatbot where you're asking a question, you get an answer from the data set and all the training data, and this is still valid and still great. But you have also today in front of you different models, reasoning models. And reasoning models are different setup. They are great for helping you analyzing things, analyzing data, providing you with a plan, a business plan. You want to solve a problem. You're going to interact with a kind of working partner that is far more clever than the traditional model. And you would say, am I paying for this? Yes, actually, in your subscription today, if you're in Copilot or ChatGPT, you have the ability to select not just the auto mode, where Copilot decides, depending on the complexity of your question, decides towards which model to dispatch the question, but you can force the machine to select the best model in town. So you can select today a Think Deeper model from Copilot, or you can even select the ChatGPT 5.5 Think Deeper, which is the most advanced reasoning model today, in a secured Microsoft environment. So this will bring you much better, much deeper analysis and better answers. But most of the people do not know that. Same goes on ChatGPT. You can select the thinking model, and is it a standard or an extended thinking? So, of course, you're not going to use this model to ask how to cook a pizza margherita tonight. That will be a suicide ecologically. But, of course, you will get far better answers from this. The beauty of the evolution of those models is that it's not just for working data analysis and solving problems. Those reasoning models have also evolved into image and video generation. And that's a big change in the communication, for the communication world. The reasoning models are extending. So you don't need a specific prompt for those who might have discovered Midjourney 2 years ago. You had to develop a prompt that normally a photographer could pull out, and that was a very complex thing to get a very great image. This time is totally over. Now you can just, with your colleagues, decide on the LinkedIn content strategy plan during lunch break. You take a picture of this and you say, I want you to convert this into a corporate slide. Or I want to convert this in corporate slide, but respecting the colors of my company and that are in image B. And you get this. in 5 seconds, of course. Same goes. Well, you want to have an internal communication report and you want to include an image. Well, you just sketch what you have in mind, even if you're not a good drawer. You say, take this, transform this into an ad or something for Speedster Energy, and you get this. And again, not in 20 minutes, but in 5 seconds. And I'm not good at photoshopping, but sometimes I need to communicate about myself. This is a real picture of me. This is with the new reasoning models. This is me with my friend, the bear. And I just had to say, I change the image and put the bear next to me, to the person crossing his arms with exactly the same attitude. It must be a friendly brown bear, and the image must be in 16:9. And I get this. So that's the revolution, I would say, in the communication world, because as long as you have an idea, you want to communicate something, you can pretty easily start having a lot of material for you. And same goes for infographics. If you want to communicate you have a file with very complex information and you want to simplify them for your audience, well, you can actually just prompt, I want to generate an infographics about this, and you will get in a couple of seconds these information. The reasoning model will think about the theory behind, and it will organize in a pretty structured way with the correct wording, and this is pretty helpful for any kind of piece of communication or briefing that you want to pull out. So what's next? Well, the reasoning models are, and this is the new image generators models behind the ChatGPT, will be available on Copilot very soon. So if I have the intention to generate an image on how to lace shoes, I just have to say that. I don't need to explain that I want a basket, a sneakers, a white one, and how to make the shoe. No, the model, because it's a reasoning model, will figure out in its data set, it will find out which kind of information are relevant, and then will pull out the prompt for me, and then will deliver the image for me. So that's the revolution, because now it can be scientifically driven, it can understand cultural context, and it can understand historical also facts. So that's a real revolution, and let's take a look at this new model.
ImageGen 2.0 is the smartest image generation model ever built, with the ability to generate complex, polished, and production-ready visuals with accurate text and structured design. You see, this model isn't just generating images, it's thinking.
That's right. ImageGen 2.0 is thinking and researching, and it can even search the web to generate images with the most accurate information available.
And with that information, the model is able to generate infographics that explain complex systems and images that solve math problems with proofs.
And with new multilingual capabilities, you can create visuals with multiple languages for the entire world.
And now, for the first time in image generation, you can create multiple distinct images at once. So you can generate entire magazines with structured typography and photorealistic photos, full renovation plans for every room in your house, or manga comics with recurring characters and evolving storylines.
And you can now generate images with 2K resolution across multiple aspect ratios with extraordinary micro details.
You might have seen that in this movie, there were some mathematical problems resolved in notebooks. The prompt was giving the mathematical problem and asking, can you resolve it? And it should be, the answer should be put in a notebook, handwritten with a pen. So the reasoning model can figure out how to solve this mathematical problem. And the same goes with videos, and that's going to change tremendously. Well, for the fact-checking, for the deepfakes, but this is another universe. And previously, with my former the former speaker, we're talking about how to distinguish the things. This will become more and more difficult for tools to detect what's true and what's not true. I think the future will be about watermarking and some marks that are invisible, but where you will have an app that will testify if this image or this video was generated by AI or not. And this is the future also about news companies, to testify that this was a generated AI, but by the BBC. So it's not a fake one. So what's coming next in the videos? And this is truly a game changer, because it's respecting the physics. It has the understanding of the physics. It has knowledge of history, science, cultural context before making videos. What you will see is a compilation. This guy has just prompted very simple things, but the realism is pretty stunning. So even my mother, turning 77 years old, could produce that kind of movie. It doesn't require any prompting skills at all. It just requires your imagination, creativity, and that might be a good thing, but also a scary thing for deepfakes.
Today I'm in London showing you just how powerful AI video editing has truly gotten. For example, if I snapped my fingers, we could make a giant wave come out of the river and make a gigantic splash on top of my head. Now for this next trick, if we take this van here, I could snap my fingers and it can rise up into the air and then come all the way back down again in zero gravity. Now check this out. If I snap my fingers again, we can have this bridge turn into glass, so you can see everything beneath my feet. And for my last trick, if we're outside this iconic location, I can snap my fingers and change into any outfit that we could possibly dream of. Google on the...
There's no limitation to creativity anymore. What you have in head, you can nearly see automatically what it's bringing. The downside of that is that your organizations are not just competing on social network with dancing cats and dancing TikTokers, because all of us will be capable of producing things that are of a very good qualitative level. So the challenge will be about the quality of your content strategically, but also the relevance of the content in front of your audience. Because everybody can produce good-looking things. But is it valid? Is it interesting enough? Is it standing out of the crowd content-wise, not just eye candy-wise? So this is an evolution or a revolution, because there will be a booming. We'll be facing an explosion of content and the volume of content. The pace of the production of content will accelerate from individuals, but also companies, from media companies too. So how do we keep with that pace? Do we follow the trend? Do we produce more and more with automated agents capable of finding out information, grabbing these things and generating images, videos, and articles for you and posting on blogs and social networks? That's already the case. But let's think about the audience. What will they do with this overwhelming volume of content? How do you stand out from the noise? So this variation of models with reasoning models is a true evolution. What is definitely a game changer in your way of interacting with AI is working with a more agentic assistant. Agentic functionalities means that your AI assistant, ChatGPT Copilot, is not just an AI that gives you answers and that is connected to its data set. This is also now connected to a lot of tools. And the first range of tools that it's connected with, it's, well, your account, your calendar, your inbox, your Microsoft Teams, your SharePoint, and it can find context of what you were discussing, what you're doing, and it will bring you some answers taking into account that context. But not only that, because now you can connect most of those AI assistants to your Booking.com, to your Figma, to your Photoshop account, to whatever you want. And through this connection, this is through the lens of your Copilot or ChatGPT that you will control other external tools. And that's the agentic layer. Your assistant will become your concierge. You will speak with your assistant, and your assistant will then master and control other external tools to deliver what you intended to have as a result. And that's a game changer. So for instance, well, if you are on ChatGPT, you will have company knowledge covering your Google Drive, Google Calendar, etc. But as I said, not only. So basically, what I'm doing with my AI assistant, I can ask, can you prepare me for my next meeting? Give me the context, the agenda of the meeting, the recent project updates, any link to the most relevant files that are in my SharePoint and that I should review. So what does my AI agentic assistant does? It will search for my next meeting in my calendar. With whom? With who? And what is the subject? It will take a look at any kind of email related to that meeting. It will also take a look in my Teams chats with the people that I'm going to meet. And it will then contextualize everything and find out that there might be a file on OneDrive that has been updated, and it would be worth for me checking before attending the meeting. So that's a real assistant. This is not just the machine providing me with answers to my prompt. This is an organizer. And you can do, well, that's every Friday. Review my emails from the past 7 days. Consider only emails that I have not responded to. For each email, you will give me a short summary, and then you will rate the importance of this email. And I've pulled out different criteria. 5 is critical. It requires my action within 24 hours. 4 is really high, requires my action within this week, etc. So recommend specific follow-up actions, and if the rating is above 3, then I would like you to craft an answer for me, taking into account the whole context that my assistant has. So that's already great, and I think, and I see this, it's pretty underused currently in most of organizations and companies, although if you have access to Copilot Pro or agentic ChatGPT or Claude. But what's going to be the real revolution is the top of the pyramid, the AI operating systems. This is 2026 revolution. This is not just about an agent facilitating your job or answering you questions, pulling out things for your meetings. This is the computer. It means that you have an assistant that is connected with your computer, your data, and all the tools that your computer has. So this is what Claude launched, and this is why Claude is so successful. They've launched Claude Code, but also Claude Cowork. And Claude Cowork is an additional coworker in your organization. You can ask to perform different things. What it will do, it will find out how to do it. And this is coming on Mistral work. It is coming on Copilot Cowork too. This will become standard. So you will always have the pleasure to work with the chatbot of your AI assistant, but you can also set up the coworker that you want to work with. And the coworker and the anatomy of an AI operating system is about connectors, the bridge between your cowork and other systems. What kind of other tools can it control for me? What kind of skills do I want my coworker to have? I will predefine or select skills. Skills in copywriting, respecting the tone of voice. Skills in creating presentations. Skills in analyzing. Skills in searching for information. Skills in fact-checking things. All the skills that you would like to have your team to be equipped. You can predefine this, and these AI operating systems will use in the skills library the ad hoc skill to perform the task that you are asking. And the plugin, well, that's the bundle. It will define which connector and which skill to use. So that's a game changer, because what you can do today, you can simply give an intention to the machine. I would like to develop a 5-page document about a topic. And then I would like you to share with my colleagues, ask them a couple of questions. Based on their feedback, I would like you to update this document. That's simply an intention. You don't have to prompt anything. You give the intention, the AI co-worker or operating system is going to figure out how to orchestrate, segregate the different tasks in workflow, which tools should be used to perform what it has been required to do, connecting to the correct files and data on my computer or my environment, activate the specific skills, and then executing across steps. And this execution might last, well, 10 minutes to a couple of hours, or even a couple of days. And that's a game changer, because this is not about having an AI that is an assistant where you're asking a question and you stay the executor for the next step. So if you say, what are the key EU AI deadlines? Can you remind me of that? Great, the chatbot will give you the answer. Now, what you could do is to say to the AI operating system, draft a press briefing on the EU AI Act. Use our style tone of voice guidelines. It should be ready for Friday, include also infographics, send an executive summary by Teams to the PA department. And it will execute, asking you for permission, asking you if you're OK with what it has pulled down, and then it will execute the whole thing. Another example, let's say that on Friday, your president is on BBC, or tomorrow morning is on BBC for a very sensitive topic. You could prepare this with Copilot or ChatGPT. You could say, can you summarize the 5 points of controversy on this file? And you provide the machine with the files. And you will get an answer. You can prepare yourself, but you have a lot of work to do. Here, you could say, prepare our president for tomorrow's BBC interview on this file. Pull our position paper from SharePoint, the last 3 public statements, and the top 5 press criticism from the past 6 months. Deliver a 2-page briefing, a Q&A of 15 tough questions, 3 key messages, but also a tactical memo on traps to avoid. It should be ready by Sunday, 8 p.m. This is not the future. This is happening now. And this is a real revolution in our way of working. A last example, I'm preparing for the climate bill debate. I need you to, and this is again not prompting, this is me like working with a real expert where I'm briefing and giving my intention. Find me 30 MEPs who have spoken about climate policy in the last year, include their committee membership and recent votes. Then you will check their social media and public statements for their position on carbon pricing. For each stakeholder, you will score their influence on 1 to 10, based on committee role, media presence, and alignment with key blocks. And I want you to identify potential allies, but also opponents. Then export everything into a structured spreadsheet. Then, for the top 5 priority stakeholders, you will draft personalized briefing notes, referencing their specific concerns from the recent statement. And you will include, include 3 questions to ask them. So that's the full, that's the full range. Again, your brain will start, your job doesn't stop here with the result. Your job starts, but from a richer base. You haven't spent time or lost time searching. You're going to be critic about what the machine brings you, but you're going to work with your brain on the next step and think deeper. So to be very concrete, a couple of examples on how to deal with this. This is an example in marketing. This guy has absolutely no clue about marketing. He wanted to launch a new brand, a water can. So he asked Claude Coworker, again, this is Claude, but this could be another AI operating system, to develop everything from the logo, from the website, from the SEO strategy, from the blog text, etc. Let's take a look.
I just want to show you one example with Claude Cowork that I found super impressive. I basically asked it to create an entire marketing campaign for launching a product. And I mean an entire marketing campaign, which has a lot of different pieces. So this went to work here, and after a little bit, it created all kinds of different files, and you could see that over here, all these different files were created. And it created that inside of this empty folder I created on my desktop. So just to show you, it created brand guidelines for me, which was a text document on how this brand should look. Then it created competitive analysis for me. It created different images and things I could post online. It created an entire ad and SEO strategy. It wrote entire ready-to-post blog post in PDF format. It has an entire email campaign here for us. It even created an entire landing page for what this website could look like. A really nice looking slideshow. So all that was created literally by a single prompt. That is Claude Cowork. It is no longer something you chat with. It's something you give a task to.
Something you give a task to, not just chatting. So if you say, we would like to launch a new fitness e-commerce brand, I want you to search Nielsen industry section for e-commerce fitness reports, then you will analyze the growth over the past 5 years, then you will create a business launch plan for me, and so it will pull out the whole thing. Is it good enough? Certainly not. Is it saving you time, and can you achieve more things in less time? Certainly yes. Another example, because this doesn't stop into searching, finding results, and pulling out a report. I think the future, and our future, will be about developing solutions, apps, websites that are solving specific tasks. So this is not about coding. This is about, again, an intention. I'll show you this guy. So with those coworker AI operating system, you could say, I would like to have an application that can, from a PDF of an article, I would like this to fact check with different sources and tell me if, giving me a percentage of accuracy or not. You could develop this with Cowork on your own. This guy has developed a tool for improving the way he's doing his videos on YouTube and referencing them. Let's take a look. He's a bit sleepy.
I just built a fully automated social media video factory in like half a day. Here's how it works. I just vibe coded this with Anthropic's new Fable model that just got re-released after it was censored for being too good. I prompted it to build me this custom dashboard where I click new short and I give it a URL to an article, paste in raw text, upload a file, or add notes on the angle that I want. Then I can choose the target length and pick the AI model I want to write the script. From there, it generates the full short form script. It also fact checks to make sure I'm not saying anything inaccurate. I can give it feedback, have it rewrite or optimize the script, see the formula it used to create it, export it as a doc, and share it with people. And it even built this cool teleprompter for easy recording. It even generates B-roll for me. It'll create matching video clips, tell me where each one should go, and here I can download all of them at once. All I have to do is record the A-roll, drop the generated B-roll on top, and I have most of the short already produced. And my favorite feature, which is what makes this really next level, is that it watches my Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts to see which ones performed best, and it uses that data to keep improving future scripts based on what's actually working in real life. But before you leave, this is very important. If you plan on using Fable, you only have...
So that's about how you can develop solutions for you. The future, because this is happening today, it looks easy to build up something, but the future of these AI operating systems will be about achieving more complex tasks. In 2024, this is a research, in 2024, the most advanced reasoning model could achieve, with a minimum of 50% of success rate, tasks that will take 6 minutes for a human to perform. In 2026, those systems can achieve tasks that will take 10 hours for a human to perform. The future will be, with this exponential explosion, 2027, between 2027 and 2029, those models will be capable of achieving things that will take a week long for humans to do. And that's a profound change in the way we organize our work. I'll come back to that in a couple of seconds. Is it going to replace all of us? Of course not. But strategically, we'll have to think about the split between what humans do and what agents do. And how do we recreate value by gaining time? And I think that's a clear game changer. Now, the other side of the story, if I may, is about there's a real war, there's a real competition. And it looks, well, fantastic. We have choices every month or every week even. There are new models coming into town, and it's difficult to choose between the Chinese ones and the American ones. Unfortunately, there's only one, not only one, but very serious contender, European contender called Mistral. But we have to first, and it raises 3 questions for me. It's great to benefit from all those tools that can enhance our way of working. But there's a consequence in our choices of technology. And the consequence might not be just for yourself or for your company and just the data protection of your company, but there will be, or there might be, a higher risk, a macroeconomical risk for Europe in the 2 or 3 coming years. I'll cover that. First, about the future of work. How do we protect workers from being quietly replaced? And this is also part of a strategic thinking. This is not just about agents doing the jobs of people. This is the collaboration between the people and the workers. Phase 1, this is plainly where we are. You are all working and being a bit augmented with a co-pilot, an AI assistant, a chatbot. Okay, asking questions, translating things, analyzing things, great. But we are now entering in phase 2, where we're going to have hybrid teams in any kind of organization. Humans working with agents. Agents having been set up to perform specific things complementary to what the humans do. And the phase 3 might be in 10 years, 15 years' time. We'll live in a society where, well, basically, theoretically, a lot of companies could produce and generate profit with a really little intervention from humans, where there might be an AI tax to pay or rent, and will be in a more relaxed way of living. I don't go to that far. What I'm interested in, this is the same theory from Stanford University. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. More and more independency from those AI operating systems. It raises another question about work and about the future of, well, our children and the young students. You might know that the unemployment rate in the States for the young graduates is getting higher and higher for the last 2 years. Why? Because they have a hard time to enter into companies, because those big companies have self-equipped with AI operating systems and agents performing things that normally a junior would be asked to do. So that also raises questions about not just our future, seniors, but also juniors. Second thing, about data sovereignty, and it's more than theory. We all have the tendency to choose the best model in town, and of course, Claude is changing the game. It's better today than ChatGPT. They are trying to catch up, Copilot and ChatGPT, and again, this is fantastic if you're choosing the best, but choosing European might also be a good approach, because the data sovereignty working with American software solutions is not secured, even if they claim that the servers are on European territory for GDPR compliances. This is actually bullshit, because the Cloud Act is now enabling the US government, the FBI, to search or to get some information passing through the servers of any US company using servers, even if the servers are outside the US territory. And that's a big change, because even Microsoft, and last year, in June, the legal director of Microsoft France was asked by the Senate Commission in France about how secure the data of the French citizens was protected if they were using Microsoft operating system and Microsoft Suite. And clearly, he said, I cannot guarantee. Under the Cloud Act from the US, Microsoft would be actually legally compelled, obliged to comply with a US order to understand, to get some information. And that's a big challenge. So actually, we have developed, and the AI Act is great, we have developed a kind of vault that's protecting the citizens. But with the Cloud Act, the Americans have the key to enter and get any kind of data in our vault. So they can compel disclosure, even if the servers are on European territory. They can also imply a gag or a secrecy order, so the company will be provided to inform its clients that there was a request to get the information on the servers. That's even worse. And currently, this is no man's land. There's no agreement to arbitrate this kind of conflict. So we're in deep shit. So what's happening, and for very let's say, delicate situations, Ministry of Defenses and the National Guard, or there's a switch, there's a kind of a migration happening in a couple of administrations currently in Europe. The migration from a Microsoft operating system towards a Linux operating systems, forgetting about PowerPoint and Word, and choosing open sources, European solutions. And I guess that this will be reinforced in the coming years. Shouldn't we consider Mistral for the EU Commission and all the people working here as the only player and the only AI system that we should choose? By the way, Mistral has also an AI co-work and an AI operating system. So everything that I've shown today, you could develop it with Mistral. And I'm not paid by Mistral, by the way, but the CEO of Mistral said also a couple of months ago that it has not just an impact on data sovereignty, it has also an impact on macroeconomic level. Most of the companies in the future will invest up to 10 to 15% of the salary amount into tokens, meaning co-workers, AI operating system, performing different tasks. 10 to 15%. Meaning that at European level, this is 1 trillion that could leave Europe, not to reinvest and re-inject in European workforces labor, but re-inject into AI American solutions. And this is the collapsing of our economy, because we're not re-injecting this money, and we're going to replace a couple of people by a couple of tokens coming from the US. That's another challenge. This is not just about data security. This is even more worse. And definitely we should be aware of that, and we should talk about that. But the media are silencing this. I don't see a lot of talk about that. So this is, yeah, that's a real threat for me. And the second thing, and the last point I want to make, is also the debate or the war will not be about who has the best AI in town. The war will be about electricity, because those AI players are actually producing or transforming electricity into tokens. What will be the cost of electricity on the in Europe? And currently, EDF is with those big players who have giant hyperscalers who have giant servers in Europe and in the States are dealing with EDF and other electricity supplier for the next 10 years, consolidating enough resources of electricity. This means that if we push on the accelerator to develop more and more Mistral-like and AI-like and bigger server in Europe, how are we going to feed those servers with our electricity if we have engaged into, well, providing AI, US-based AI with this? So that's the challenge. A lot of things. I hope that I could raise a bit of enthusiasm about these AI operating systems helping you in your everyday, but also raising a couple of key strategic questions that are not just about data sovereignty, but also the future of our economic model. Thank you. Please, shoot. There's someone behind. I'll come back to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will, as we have very good interpreters, I will speak in French, so you can put your headset. Merci beaucoup pour cette présentation.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm Christophe Lefebvre, the workers group of the European Economic and Social Committee. Our concern is that AI will contribute to decreasing the number of jobs. You have already described the emerging situation with some companies. I work for a private company, and my company has announced that it is the manager that has to authorize subscriptions or obtaining licenses in order to use some of these tools. This is the current situation. Let me make another comment. We were invited to attend a European conference on various topics. Quite a few issues were raised. All the participants were using AI. At the end of the day, the 5 speakers shared the same arguments. I'm telling you this as I think that we need creative thinking and a creative approach on all these issues. Let me also approach Revolut or address Revolut and say that Revolut is sometimes used for fraud and scam. They use robots explaining to me that in order to submit the alarm, I need a Revolut profile. However, I'm not their client. At the end of the day, I didn't solve the issue. I'm telling you this to show that we have some limitations.
The companies are, well, hesitating for the cost and not providing, or that's the first point, sorry, not providing all the employees with a Copilot Pro, for instance. And so they are stuck. They cannot have an AI assistant helping to manage the agenda. But coworker will be even worse. Because you will pay, today you pay a subscription, 25 euros for Copilot Pro. But the coworker will be an additional envelope. You will buy an envelope of tokens to deliver specific outputs, presentations, videos, anything. So these will have an impact on the P&L. This requires to have a strategic thinking. It's not just a tool that you just give a license to. It's how do we reorganize the work? And by the way, the replacement is not really happening. In a couple of technical fields, yes, coders have a hard time to figure out how to find a job. But today, people on natural leave are not replaced. There's a kind of hiring freeze in a lot of companies. But the co-workers are building up or reinforcing the teams. What does that mean for the future? Well, less people, less employment. So that's a big question. I don't have the answer. Second point about the standardization. The only value that you can create is by using your brain with AI. And I say this to my students and to anybody. If you're just satisfied with the result of AI, then this will be standard. Your neighbor could just prompt the same way and push on the button and will have nearly the same result. Okay. If you're starting interacting, this is where you're going to create value. This is where you're going to think, criticize, manage your coworker. Every kind of people in the coming companies, even if you're a junior, you will be a manager of a couple of agents working for you. So you need to take the helicopter view. You need to take a bit of distance with what the machine has produced, and you need to coordinate. And that's the critical thinking that will make the distinction between the average people and the very good people performing in any kind of companies. Yeah. And for the third point, that was a more philosophical one, if I may, yeah. Yes.
This is working. Thank you. Thank you for a fascinating presentation. I think if you put together the two presentations, the first one and then yours, and sort of mix it into what we were talking yesterday as well, I keep thinking about trust. I keep thinking about critical thinking. And I keep thinking about how we're going to be sourcing information, because you say critical thinking will be very important for how we will perform tasks. But I'm afraid that what you just showed us will basically impede critical thinking, because we're going to prompt something, and then we're going to get a result. And we're going to come to the conclusion that that is the best possible result that you could think of. It's a bit like with Google Maps and with our sense of direction. Because of the fact that we're using Google Maps, we've stopped having any, I mean, at least me, maybe somebody here hasn't, but we stop, figuring out how to get anywhere, because basically the computer does it for us. So I have this strong feeling, this is not really a question, maybe a rhetoric question, that there's a huge problem between the tasks that will be performed by the agents and the mechanisms and technologies you're talking about, and our ability to think critically. That's one thing. And my second question is, what comes next? Because you're talking about a reality in which we're going to be setting tasks, and different agents or technologies will be performing these tasks. My question is, when do we get to a reality, and how soon do we get to reality when it's the technology that will be setting and giving us tasks? Because at the end of the day, if the computer is smarter than us, and I guess it is, then it's going to tell us what to do. It's not going to be asking for prompts. It's going to start prompting us to do the work, to get things done. And I think that's the next phase. And do you think we're getting there anytime soon?
Thank you for those two questions. First question, trust, or we will put our brain on standby, and there are a lot of studies and research showing that people are tending to not think anymore. I will say that it's up to you. And this is about an attitude. I've never been intellectually as stimulated as today working with AI than before. but this is my choice. Because I'm starting thinking from a richer base. I don't spend time Googling things, and then when I'm bored, I start thinking. No, I start thinking with much more information. And I can criticize, and I can iterate with my assistant. But a lot of people are just satisfied with they pushing a button. And this is what I'm telling also to my students. I don't care, use AI. I don't care if it's totally written by AI. As long as you've been thinking with AI, and I would like you to give me a copy of your prompts, because that's testifying how you were thinking collaboratively with the machine. And the best solutions in science, in the medical sector, in defense, will come from the unification of those two brains. So that's for sure. But a lot of people will take the shortcut and will be satisfied. No future. The second point, I have to recall the second point. Oh, automation, yes, getting feedback. But actually, this is already happening. If you're working at Amazon, you know, the distribution of the packs is decided by an algorithm. So the people go and each morning and they know what to do, and the machine has told them how to organize this. So I think this, for me, we're more talking about the collective intelligence. For in some cases, relying extremely on the analysis capacity of the AI and analyzing tons of things. So we're starting from a richer base, but we'll need to be very critic about what it's producing, because the hallucination rate is still there. By the way, whatever AI that you're using today, it still hallucinates between 2 to 24% of hallucination potential by answer. So that's pretty huge. So definitely, yes, I can be invited to do things, but without my brain, I don't know where we're facing a lot of problems in companies. Huh? Yes. We have to terminate. I'm happy to meet you later on. Thank you.